This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about animals and some stories I have about their names and how they choose them, how we choose them, and what their thoughts are on them. So, this was something that happened back in 2005. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but animals have very distinct personalities. And it turns out they also have their own names. They know who they are better than we do. And a lot of behavioral issues happen because we give them a cute human name and they will not acknowledge us or our commands as they don't believe they are talking to you. So, in case you don't know me or you're new to this channel, I'm Reverend Dr. Elena Skyhawk, and I've been communicating with animals since I was a very young child. And I was affectionately nicknamed Dr. Doolittle by my family. Sometimes they understood it, sometimes they didn't, but it is something that I have been doing my whole life. Sometimes animals will talk to you, sometimes they won't. It depends, again, on the animal. But this particular time, I was living on a working cattle ranch in Flagstaff when I had to put my two older cats to sleep due to advanced age and illness. It was an extremely tough decision to make, and I wasn't ready to let go. I kept asking Tigger and Lucky to keep me informed of where they were at in the process. I knew they were ready when I was coming back from a weekend in Phoenix. I drove into the Ponderosa Pines and I heard Tigger giving me the eulogy he wanted said at their funeral. I hope you caught that. They wanted a funeral and words said about them as they were being buried. That had never happened to me as an animal communicator, so I was taken aback a bit. He also gave me a picture of where they wanted to be buried. Once I brought their bodies back to the ranch, the caretaker and I started looking for the place Tigger had shown me. Got it wrong the first time, but when he said the big grandmother tree, I knew exactly where he was talking about. We walked over to the tree, and after blessing the area, we started to dig. We got about 3 feet down when we hit a stone shelf. Both cats were placed side by side, wrapped in blankets. I did a crossing over ceremony for them, sprinkled them with sage and sweetgrass. As the caretaker covered them, I read the eulogy Tigger had given me a few weeks before. When I looked over at the caretaker, he had tears in his eyes. He told me it was one of the most beautiful ceremonies he had ever been to. The next day, I walked out to check on them as I was concerned they weren't deep enough and the coyotes might find them. What I found made me cry. A large raven feather was laying over their grave, and a small stone marker was nearby. I took the stone marker and painted the cats' names on it and glued the feather to the stone, and took it and pushed it down into the ground as their headstone. By now, you're probably wondering what any of this has to do with animals knowing who they are. But as you can tell from the story, animals are sentient beings with souls, and they know exactly who they are and where they belong. By saying they are just a dog or a cat or any other type of pet or animal, we are doing them and ourselves a huge disservice. Animals are here as our teachers and our friends. As much as we learn from them, they also learn from us. Now, this next story is rather hilarious, as I was actually arguing with a kitten on her name. So while I was still at the ranch, I became the caretaker of 49 chickens and a rooster, as well as 3 outdoor cats. They had been left there by the previous renters. There was a male cat named Tom, a female cat named Lena, and one of her kittens. While I was dealing with my 2 cats, Tigger and Lucky, Lena had given birth to 4 kittens. She had them out in one of the horse barns, and we had a hard time finding them. She would come in for food, pets, and to warm up, but then take off again. She finally trusted us enough to show where they were. So we brought them into the house. By the time they were 6 weeks old, I started to think about finding them homes. I wanted to keep one of them. He was a chocolate colored cat, apparently turned out very rare, along with the older kitten to replace Tigger and Lucky. So had put a plan in motion to advertise 3 of the free kittens for sale, or for free, to good homes. This is when one of the kittens spoke up. She insisted she was staying with me. I told her no, she wasn't, that I hadn't given her a name just for that reason. She looked at me and said, "My name is Merlin and I'm staying." Well, crap. That's not supposed to happen. So I came back with, "You're a girl, so your name can't be Merlin." Very pertinently, she came back with, "Yes, it can be. My name is Merlin, spelled Merlyn, and I'm staying." One can't argue with that, so she stayed. About 6 months later, they were both diagnosed with panleukopenia, a very deadly disease. When Merlin passed, she told me she would be back as a black cat and to watch for her. We'll hear more from Merlin later, as yes, she did come back as a black cat with some incredible stories with her and her companion medicine bear. The reason I'm sharing these stories of pets is to show you how you too can communicate with animals, whether it's just for yourself and family, or if you're interested in animal communication as your divine purpose. Once animals, whether dead or alive, realize you can see and hear them, they will communicate their needs and desires to you to pass on to their human caretakers. This is a divine assignment I don't take lightly, and neither should you. If you are interested more about animals and how they can influence your life, I'm putting together a birth totem course and a power animal workshop. If you are interested in learning more about the role animals play in your life, please leave a comment. Also, if you're interested in the courses, let me know that as well. If you like what you've heard, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so that you will be informed when the next story is posted. As a teaser, it's about how Bearheart made his appearance known.